Hello guys, and welcome to Ride VIP, the Rideshare channel. My name is Serge, and in today's video I want to talk to you guys about how my second week of working as a service technician at Chrysler Jeep Dodge is going, also considered a line tech. And short answer, it's going great. The very first week, it actually took kind of getting used to. There's just a lot of new things that I have to learn, and not only that it's different cars, but also different kinds of software, also different kind of, like learning that I have to do. And it's a little bit too much, it's a little bit overwhelming, like when you start off, but it seems like I have gotten the hang of it. And today just finished up Thursday, gotta come in tomorrow, and that's it. That's gonna be my second week completed. Now with that being said, guys, I'm really enjoying working at the dealership, making new friends. The most important thing is that I am friends with basically my neighbors. I am friends with Jason, that is working right next to me. He's got his couple lifts over there, and then I got a lift next to the shop foreman, and we're all getting along. So I'm sure that very first 3 months it's going to be a test for the dealership to find out if I'm the right fit, and at the same time it's going to be me testing myself. How do I like working as a service technician? How do I like working for the company? And am I really enjoying it? And things of that nature. I understand how some of you guys will look at this type of thing and say, what do you mean enjoying it? Like it's a job, like you gotta do the job, right? But no, not saying that I have negative viewers here, because I don't. I actually have excellent viewers here. And a lot of you guys, I feel like you guys are like part of the family, like you guys are my friends. I respond to you guys all the time, various different comments that you guys place. And of course, I respect each and every one of you and all of your opinions. And if there's any constructive criticism, I think I take it well. But if you don't see me responding to you, then maybe I just missed your comment. So don't think I am somehow like ignoring, because right now I'm a bit busy. So I try to do the best I can. So I'm making these videos every time I leave my work or on the way to work. And there's certainly lots of things to talk about. So I guess let's talk about how today's day went. So I started off today working on a van that I pulled in yesterday. It needed 2 headlights replaced. This is basically like a Dodge van. And this van has actually a recall, and the recall is for the headlights. What happens is water gets in the headlights, like literally water. Like it was like a fish tank in there. Probably should have taken pictures of that. I don't know why I didn't think of it, but I had to remove the lights and replace it with brand new headlights and brand new light bulbs that's inside of the lights. For that job, I needed to remove the front bumper together with a grill assembly. It was kind of like all attached as one piece. So I just pulled it off together. And when I did that, I had access to the headlights. It was pretty self-explanatory procedure. It was quite easy for me to be able to do that. So got those lights replaced, and then of course I needed to make sure I look at the car over and check everything. So I did that, topped off some fluids, recommended various type of services. Then I got a Jeep in. I took care of the Jeep. So what was going on with the Jeep Rubicon is that the auxiliary battery that's located underneath the fender, which is on the driver's side fender, underneath the fender lining, that's where it's located. It's like a small battery that looks kind of like an ATV or a motorcycle battery. It actually looks like that, like not even a tractor battery, unless they're putting these in tractors now. But it's kind of like a cool battery. It's kind of cool design. But anyways, that battery was only at 30%. So what was happening because of that, the stop start function was not working, because the battery was dead, and it needed to be, the battery needed to be replaced, and the main battery needed to get fully charged so that you could do the test and then recalibrate the system, which I did, so that stop start function will work again. So with that Jeep, started off by basically, you know, just checking everything, and then just looked everything over, put it on a lift, lifted it up a little bit so that I could, you know, get a closer look at everything. Put it back down, and basically disconnected the big battery, like a 12-volt battery that's underneath the hood, the main one, and brought a special machine out to basically test that battery. It's actually, I mean, I would call it like state-of-the-art type of machine. Like it's kind of cool, and it actually checks the battery by doing like various things to it, that it tests it, and if it fails that test, it will print out a receipt saying that it failed. Same thing for when it passes. So the main battery has passed, and the way you got to do it is you do have to disconnect the terminals, and you have to disconnect them a certain way. If you disconnect it incorrectly, it could mess things up, because there's a sensor there in the negative terminal, and there's about like 2 wires that go there. You want to make sure that you disconnect the sensor as well, but I'm not telling you the actual procedure, because I mean, I just don't want to really like stretch out the video more than it has to be. But basically, short end of the story, once the battery was disconnected, only then you could test it. You can't test it while the battery is connected, if that makes sense. And then while that test was being performed, I had to basically like raise the vehicle while the leads are still, you know, plugged in. And while I was testing, I was performing a recall type of job. So the recall was for the water pump bolts. I needed to pull them out, put Loctite, and retighten it back up again. So I was performing that. So by the time the test was complete, the recall job was done, and then I basically started. I removed the front right wheel and removed the fender lining. Got in there and basically removed the little battery. Also went ahead and, you know, got it tested. While I was testing, I was performing other things, just looking the vehicle over, just writing things down. And then of course, I had to go and price out, you know, like get a price like a brand new key fob, and that key fob is not in stock. It will take like a week for it to come in, and I have to make sure that both of the batteries are in stock while things are testing, and get a price on it, because they may not be in stock. You know, you never know. So, you know, somebody may need to like order it while I'm actually doing some stuff. Yeah, so I checked it, everything, and it did need like an air filter as well. This is not something that it came in for, but it needed one, so I replaced that, and we had to get an okay from a customer. And also it needed brake fluid flush, because it had like water in the system, like tiny bit of water. You could technically still drive it like that, like it's not in the red, like it's in the yellow. But technically it would need to get replaced, because water in the system will cause like spongy brakes, and then before you know, it's going to rust out your brake lines, and you really don't want to have no brakes when that happens. But anyways, it was a fairly low mileage vehicle, so I was like really surprised how dirty the fluid was. It had like less than 30,000 miles on the dash. I also had to perform an oil change on this vehicle, so I knocked that out. So, you know, things was happening kind of quickly. I'm very used to these type of things now. I already have worked on several vehicles. As a matter of fact, like I'm talking about several of those type of Jeeps. So yesterday I did a Rubicon as well. So same thing, I had to replace that little auxiliary battery and the main battery, because both of them have failed. But lucky for the customer, this is warranted. So this is warranty work. And same thing, I did water pump bolts again yesterday on another one. So once I done that one, I was pretty confident that I could do it again. So yeah, like you just get better at it. I heard like a lot of mechanics, they don't like to do warranty work, but for me, like I don't care. I think it's not so much what the warranty jobs pay, because it doesn't pay much for the warranty work. So of course they're going to give it to somebody like me. But I think it's important that when you do it enough, like, you get better at it, then you just become fast. So it just becomes repetitive. So it's kind of like no surprises. But anyways, that was not bad. Like, that was pretty easy for me to do. And you know, I had to replace the plastic tabs. They're like kind of like one-time use on the fender lining, 4 of them, because you actually have to use a plastic rivet tool to put them in. So once they're put in, well, that's it. You can't reuse them. You have to, you know, pull them out, which is easy to pull them out, actually. But anyways, so that was interesting. And then once I was done with this whole complete job, for some reason the start stop function was not ready. It just did not want to work. But it's not that it's for some reason, right? The main battery was actually low, and it was only at 60% charge. It was reading 12 volts, but it was like not fully charged. So I put my trickle charger on it, and I was doing other things to help my coworker make sure he gets his stuff done. And while I was charging, we had like a big Dodge Ram Cummins in there, and I had to basically replace like one of the sensor, like, forgot, like, it's kind of like a relay type. Well, no, not a relay. It's a module, excuse me. Like, it's a module that I had to replace. Those things get hot and burnt out because of fire, so it was actually a recall, so that had to be done. So while I was doing that, my coworker, he was underneath the vehicle, messing with some stuff down there they had to do. And then I basically, while he was doing that, like, replaced the module. But to get to the module, you got to remove the main, like a big turbo air hose. Like, I don't even know like what they would call it, but like, basically it's like this thick. It goes right on the turbo. It's really easy to remove. But once I removed it, I had access to the module that I had to replace. And of course, to do that, you would have to have the battery disconnected for that to be done. And we also had to flush the computer because there's a check engine light on. So after stuff gets replaced, that has to get flashed on that Dodge Ram. And we had to replace a transmission oil dipstick tube. We had to put a new one on there. That was a recall. So by the time we done that, we went back, well, I went back to the Jeep, and I looked at the battery. It was already like 80% from 60. I unplugged it, you know, like, and took it for a test drive, and guess what? Start function is not working. And same thing for the Dodge Ram. I came back, and then the check engine light was still on. And basically we had to flash the computer. We flashed it, and it came back good. Took it on a test drive. Basically came back with a clean bill of health. So that's good. We were able to wrap up 2 minutes before 5, which is great. And then clock out, and now I'm on the way home, you know. So it's pretty cool. Like, it doesn't feel like hard to me. The only thing now that I gotta get used to is doing my hours correctly, because there's just like a lot to learn, right? Even like the clock in, clock out, you know, that kind of thing could be challenging for some people. So I mean, I got that down the very first week, because you got to do it through a computer, and there's sort of like, you got this list of commands that you gotta memorize to be able to clock in and clock out, and these different numbers that you're not used to, you have to learn, like your new number that's been assigned to you, and the shop number, and then you gotta have the password. With everything's new, and you just have to memorize it when you clock it in, clock it out. And then like, whenever you perform in service, you gotta like start the service, stop the service, and you gotta like, through the computer, you gotta get in into each different type of work that you're doing. You gotta write notes in, and you gotta actually, in order to even get there, there's commands. So that's something that I'm learning. Like, I'd say I got it about like 75%. So I already know like some of those commands to get in there, but like it's just gonna take time, you know, getting used to it, like maybe like another week, and then I'll be good. Because, you know, like sometimes you could like start on a job, right, but you're not thinking about the computer too much, but each job you're doing, you got to get in there and sort of like clock in for that job, and then sort of clock out for that job, and any kind of work you're doing, you got to update that list. And that's how it all communicates with everybody. And like it's kind of like an internal system type of app, where technically every single computer has access to that same thing, because it's kind of like an internal system that they're using for everybody, and service technicians and all the staff have access to that. Like, so like the advisors, they're able to get in there and actually see kind of like what you did and stuff like that. So also there's physical paperwork that needs to be filled out, including like all of the multi-point inspections, and you got to write things down on them. So there's just a lot that's going on. So the main thing is, I guess like when it comes to being a technician, you got to learn to be efficient, to where when, let's say like your oil is draining or whatever, you got to be checking over some other stuff while that's happening. Like anytime something's happening, you got to be multitasking and just like jumping around, but at the same time staying organized and clean, and being able to be observative, like not miss anything. But that's kind of like second nature to me, the observation part and everything. When it comes to like multitasking, I'm already a multitasker, but whenever I work on vehicles at home, you know, I mean, it's a different type of process that I would use. I mean, I just had like a head-on approach. I just like do what got to get done, you know. But same thing, like if oil would be draining, I would be doing something else, you know, at that time, kind of like. But now when it's happening, like, and let's say like you start in like a different job, you got to get in the computer, you got to do this, you got to do that. There's a lot, like lots of moving parts, but it's okay. It is not intimidating. It is something that I'm getting used to. I think that the very first week I worked, it's just, it was physically and emotionally draining. And I like to stay positive about things, right? And even though like I'm enjoying it, like it's just your hobby, something that you enjoy doing. So like now becomes your work, and on top of that, there's certain procedures and steps you got to follow, and it's just a lot, and that's what's draining. Plus, it's physical. And your back hurts, and your arms hurts, and your knees will hurt. And even though we got lifts, you gotta always lay down on that concrete. You gotta install the lift in the correct spot. You gotta adjust the height on the things for each vehicle. That's a little different, so that depending on what kind of vehicle it is or truck, it's got different lift points and different adjustments that you got to do to your lift. It's easy to do. You just have to do it, because you want to make sure that you're lifting the vehicle evenly. You want to make sure that when you jack it up on a lift, you want to make sure that you lock that lift. I mean, I was already doing that stuff. That's like second nature. I've done some of that stuff at my brother's shop. He already showed me how to do that like 2 years ago. I already worked on some really amazing cars, including a Rolls Royce, and I helped my brother with a Lamborghini, and I helped him with like lots of Porsches, BMWs, Maseratis in his shop, like whatever he had, like I just gave him like a hand on it. But not like as an employee, you know. I just come to hang out. Like I said, hey, you need a hand with something, let me help you. Because I just enjoy being around cars and stuff like that. But what's kind of cool is, a lot of times I make these videos about like how to service cars, and it helps a lot of people out. Like even if the video is not making money, but like the feedback that I get from people that watch it, the emails, a lot of them, they're, you know, like they're thanking me for saving them and stuff like that. So of course, being at the dealership, I'm going to learn a lot about the problems that some vehicles are having and the solution. So that's actually going to help me understand these vehicles more, and it's going to open up my horizons like a little bit more. One of the things that I think is important is to be able to expand my knowledge with some of the American vehicles, but also that I'm expanding knowledge there, right? There's pretty much like 4 brands within that brand, right? You got the Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and they say Ram, right? So there's like a big variety of vehicles. including gas, including diesels, including hybrids, and now we're getting electric. So there's like lots of experience that I'm going to be gaining by working there that I just would not gain otherwise, because I never worked in a hybrid before until now. Never worked on an electric vehicle until now. Well, I haven't worked on electric vehicles yet, okay? But I'm just saying, until now, I did not have opportunity to do that. But now the hybrids, yes, I did work already on many hybrids. We had the hybrids vans, we had the hybrids Jeeps all the time. So there's a lot of that, and there's also a lot of smart technology, like the smart stops, smart charging, smart shut off and start, you know, type of things that I have to learn. And you know, also at the same time, Mercedes Sprinter diesels, well, Dodge was making them for a while, so it's got Dodge brand, but that's a Mercedes. And a lot of the Dodge and Chrysler products, like today there was a Jeep Grand Cherokee that my coworker was working on that has a Neg 1 transmission, and it's a 722 transmission that goes inside of a Sprinter van. And I'm like, oh, look at that. I'm very familiar with that transmission. I know how to take those things apart and put it together. I mean, I would say like in 15 minutes. I mean, I do them really quickly. You know, I have videos that are probably 15 minutes long where you can see that I do it in real time. So you could actually go on my channel, Zimbaletta Motors, and you could actually see some of those videos. And I have gotten better over the years because I just became so familiar with that transmission. Now, this vehicle has a ZF transmission. And guess what? My BMW at home, which is the X5, has a ZF transmission. There's lots of ZF transmissions in Chrysler products. You know, Jeep products like ZF everywhere. So that means I get to learn how to work on these transmissions, which again opens up a possibility for me now to buy various cars, American cars, German cars, because ZF is like, it's a very common transmission that's found in many makes and models. So that's cool. And same thing with the Neg 1 transmission that's found in many Mercedes products, many Chrysler products. I don't even know like if it's got like any like other vehicles, but Daimler Chrysler, when they had this sort of like, I guess, a relationship, lots of the stuff got shared, you know, and now I get to learn it. So that's kind of cool. I really like to expand my knowledge, you know, like sure, it could be sometimes overwhelming because I'm not used to having a big volume of work and just having like a fast-paced environment, but now I'm getting used to it. Like, I just can't believe it. Like, this is only my second weekend. Started on Wednesday, this is only a Thursday, so technically, right? So technically it's been a week and 2 days, you know. But if you include the Sunday, it's been a week and 1 day. You know, I mean, Sunday was off for me and Wednesday was half day. Saturday was half day last week. This Saturday I don't have to work. But anyways, I'm catching on really quickly and I'm getting lots of praise from my coworkers that I'm doing really well. So that's good. And the most important thing is that we all get along. Like, that is good already. Because that makes your job easier. I would not want to work at a place where I can't, you know, like I can't get along with these people or they can't get along with me. I would not work there just for the money. I would leave the toxic environment. So right now the environment's not toxic, like it's good. And I get along with anybody because I have like nothing to prove. I will give assistance without even somebody asking my assistance. I'd be like, listen, you want a hand with that? Can I help you with this? You know, I'll help them out. Like I'm talking about like my neighbors, but if I got called already, like, you know, push a couple cars out, you know, like they didn't have to call on me, but they were like, hey, you know, this, you know, can somebody help us push? So I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? And everybody like that in the shop, like everybody just like helps each other out. So far there's just lots of positivity, which is good. That helps things because not only that, it could be challenging the very first week to work, but working with the right or the wrong type of people really impacts your state of mindset, if you could call it that. And it makes it easier if at least you could get along, you know, so you don't have to worry about that other extra stuff and just focus on what needs to be done. But even though I'm hourly right now, I'm on a hybrid model, so there's certain cars that I'm working on. I'm flat rate on those, but I still get hourly. So for me, I'm lucky because I get that $16 an hour, which is per hour, but $18 an hour as a flat rate. And I know to some of you guys that may seem a little bit low, but believe me, that's above minimum wage here. I believe in South Carolina and North Carolina, minimum wage is still $7.35. So the cost of living obviously went up everywhere. So there's no going away from that. But I am working in Charlotte, so I think like what that means is that they're going to probably pay me more just because of that area, just because Charlotte, you know, so Charlotte's going to have better pricing. I mean, well, better income opportunity just because cost of living in Charlotte is just so high. Just like a typical rent apartment, $1,400 for a single bedroom, and that's like not even luxury. Like that's just like a basic apartment. If you want luxury, it's gonna be like $2,500 or more, and that's just kind of like, you know, you'll have like a really nice building, like pool and everything, close to $3,000 for those. So basically, right now I'm in traffic, and I guess this is a lot of people that work in Charlotte that's going back to South Carolina. But the good thing is, my area where I live, they're building this dealership. I know I mentioned this before, so they're going to finish it by the end of 2024. I just hope that I stay positive enough to be able to just, you know, stick with the punches. But, you know, there's no punches. But, like, the thing is, just stick with it, learn. And a lot of you guys been telling me the same thing, just, you know, like, just try to, you know, stick with it and stuff like that, which I am hopeful to do. I am not thinking about quitting. But the good thing is, I am not worried about getting fired, or I'm not worried about, like, what if I lose my job? Part of the reason I'm not worried is because I don't have any, like, type of debts, which is good. So I was, like, looking also at the Teslas and stuff. Sure, I could probably get one and save money by commuting to work in a Tesla. If I could just get one, let's say, like, for $27,000, you know, maybe like a used one or whatever. And on top of that, save on a tax credit. I mean, I don't know. It's something to think about, you know. When I was a teenager, I bought myself a Volkswagen Jetta, and like it was like $22,000 or something like that, you know. And I had like a $400 payment, like $414 or something like that, you know. So, and that was like, I think, I can't remember, like for 5 years, I think. After 2 years, I sold it to the dealership and just basically broke even. But I don't know, you know, I just, right now, like the way I see it, just really don't need a car payment, especially like within a year. They're going to open up this dealership where I live, so I'll be able to get transferred here. Hopefully increase pay, hopefully, you know, you could always hope. Because I'm sure they're going to need people, and, you know, they're going to know like what to expect from me since I worked for them in Charlotte. So might as well do that. And a lot of you guys, well, been telling me like, you can't believe that I am driving pretty much a gas guzzler to work, 17 miles per gallon, like not good. You can't believe that I haven't upgraded to like something more fuel efficient. Well, part of that reason is, guys, is that I have a lot on my plate. I'm working on a lot of things at the same time. So because of that, it's very hard to basically get that done. But I wasn't sitting on my hands all this time. So I needed to basically get a car ready that I'm planning on selling, which is my Chrysler 300. After that, I'm going to get into the Jeep Patriot, then either Nissan Rogue or Nissan Altima, or Murano or Maxima, like one of those, and then just basically sell them. I'm hoping that this year I can sell 5 cars. I'm hoping. I haven't sold any, but once I finished putting my, like everything back in the Chrysler 300. Like I painted it. Like now I got to put the lights back on, like the bumper, the grill, got to put all that stuff back. I will then be able to list it for sale, and I will be driving it to Charlotte, which is this is why, like, I don't need like no Tesla or nothing. I'm gonna drive it to Charlotte while it's listed. It's for sale. I'm also going to be working at the same time getting another car painted, which is the Jeep Patriot. I just gotta paint the hood, fenders, bumper, grill. That's it. And I'm replacing the front headlights and fog lights. But that car is going to be getting ready while this one's being sold. Well, not this one. The Chrysler 300 is going to be getting sold. And when it sells, I will switch the plates to Jeep Patriot, drive that, and put that for sale while I'm working on the car. This is why, like, I'm doing like what I'm doing. So technically, right now, it's kind of beneficial for me to be able to be in Charlotte, because if anybody wants to see the car, guess what? They're not coming to my home. I could just tell them to come to the dealership and meet me outside. Like, technically, we're going to be flat rate. If I gotta see somebody real quick, I'll step out, let them see the car, and if they want to buy it, they buy it. Not, they're not. So that's kind of cool. So with the Chrysler, once I'm going to be driving it, that's a 3.5 liter. It's going to be a lot more fuel efficient than this Range Rover here. And then once I get into the Jeep Patriot, that's a 4-cylinder. Once I get into the Nissan Rogue, 4-cylinder. Nissan Altima, 4-cylinder. The only ones that's like 6 again would be the Nissan Murano that I'll be selling, and Nissan Maxima. Those are 3.5 liter engines. So, there's that. But anyways, I'm really fortunate to be able to work here at this dealership. And not only that, like, I'm able to bring my cars and service them at their shop. So they're my cars. I'm driving them. I'll be able to service those cars after work. And I will then, I'm actually going to go through the drive-thru here and get me some chicken wings. But anyways, whenever I will service my car, like, get it ready and stuff, like at the dealership, that will save me time. Like, I don't need to really be able to like worry about like, oh, I don't have a shop or this or that. Like, I will be able to use my lift in my area and just service my vehicle, guys. So that's going to be very, very cool, very convenient for me. So I will do that, and I will do that with each vehicle that I'm selling. So that is good. Like, I'm still being able to flip cars. I just need to get my Jeep Patriot drivable, and then I'll come in here and I'll service it at the dealership and make videos, because it's gonna be like after work. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.